Eli slowly opened his eyes, squinting against the dim morning light. The room around him was unfamiliar. The walls were painted a soft cream, and the furniture was simple but tidy. A small window let in a pale blue light, casting long shadows across the floor. For a moment, he didn't remember where he was. Then, a sharp pain in his head reminded him of the chaos from the night before. He tried to sit up, but his body felt heavy, almost as if gravity had doubled. Eli looked around and noticed a figure sitting nearby, quietly watching him. She was calm, composed, her hair tied back neatly and her eyes, bright, determined, locked onto his. "You're awake," she said softly. Her voice had a strange mixture of relief and urgency. "You were crying, but you're safe now." Eli blinked. Crying? Safe? He struggled to remember. Bits and pieces of the previous evening returned like shattered glass. The streets, the drones, the sudden explosions. His heart raced. What happened?" he asked, his voice hoarse. "You collapsed," the woman replied. She moved closer, offering him a glass of water. "You were in the street. People were running. You were alone, scared. I brought you here." Eli took the water, his hands trembling. His mind tried to make sense of everything. The city outside had changed overnight. Sirens still wailed in the distance, though muffled here in this small room. The sky beyond the window was gray, covered with strange, metallic shadows moving like clouds. Drones, he remembered. The aliens had come suddenly and humans had been caught off guard. He tried to stand but stumbled. The woman, Ayla, he remembered now, grabbed his arm to steady him. "You don't have to be afraid," she said. "Not here. Not with me." Eli studied her face. There was a strength there he didn't fully understand. She didn't just seem brave. She seemed certain, as if she knew something about surviving this chaos that he did not. For the first time since the attack began, he felt a small spark of hope. Who are you?" he asked. "I'm your neighbor," she said, smiling faintly. "I live 2 floors down. But more importantly, I'm one of the people trying to help humans survive." Eli frowned. "Survive? You mean the aliens?" "Yes," she replied simply. "They came fast. They're not like anything we've seen. But humans are clever. We adapt, we fight, and we help each other. That's how we survive." Her words sank into him. He had been so consumed by fear that he hadn't thought about anything else. But now, listening to her, he realized that maybe survival wasn't just about hiding. Maybe it was about acting, about being human in ways the aliens could never understand. Ayla moved to a small shelf and grabbed a blanket. She draped it over his shoulders. "You need rest," she said. "But you also need to understand what's happening. We can't stay here long. The drones are scanning the city. They can detect movement and life." Eli nodded, though his mind raced. Drones, scanning, life signs. He had seen the drones last night, tall silver machines with glowing blue eyes. They moved silently, quickly, and they didn't hesitate. Anyone they detected was taken away. He had barely escaped. "Why are you helping me?" he asked quietly. Isla's eyes softened. "Because humans take care of each other, even when the odds are against us. That's what makes us strong." For the first time, Eli felt the truth of her words. In the chaos, humans still helped each other. Even now, with the city under alien control, some people were brave enough to resist, to protect those who were too afraid or too weak to run. Suddenly, a low hum vibrated through the walls. Both Eli and Ayla stiffened. Outside, the metallic shadows passed across the sky. The drones were moving closer. "They'll be here soon," Ayla said. She grabbed a small backpack from under the bed and handed it to him. "We have to move, quickly." Eli felt panic rising. Where? How? Down, she said, nodding toward a small door at the corner of the room. There's a hidden shelter beneath the building. Not many know about it. Come on. He followed her, his legs shaky, his mind filled with fear and confusion. As they descended a narrow staircase, he glimpsed walls lined with strange devices, computers, sensors, and small mechanical tools. Humans had been preparing, quietly, in secret. For what, he wondered, and why? Why didn't I know about this? He asked. Most people don't, Ayla said. We're careful. The aliens wouldn't hesitate to destroy any organized resistance, but humans are clever. We adapt. And we survive. Eli realized she wasn't just talking about hiding or running. She meant that humans had a kind of intelligence and resourcefulness the aliens couldn't predict. Humans could improvise, think in ways the machines couldn't, and protect each other in ways no drone could anticipate. They reached a heavy metal door at the end of the corridor. Isla tapped a small panel beside it, and the door slid open with a hiss. Inside was a large underground room, dimly lit but organized. People moved quietly, checking equipment, whispering instructions, preparing for something Eli couldn't yet understand. This is, Eli began, but Ayla shook her head. Safe, for now, she said. Here, you can rest, but soon you'll need to learn. You'll need to be part of this. Eli looked around the room. Every face he saw carried a mixture of fear and determination. Children huddled with their parents, elders gave instructions, and young people carried tools and devices, preparing for something big. Despite the fear, despite the danger, he felt a strange warmth, a sense that humanity wasn't defeated. Not yet. Why me? He asked. I'm just me. I'm not strong. I'm not brave. Ayla knelt beside him, her eyes steady. Being human isn't about being the strongest or the bravest. It's about thinking, feeling, helping. Your fear doesn't make you weak. It makes you aware. And awareness is the first step to action. Humans survive because we care, because we adapt, because we refuse to give up. Eli swallowed hard, trying to understand her words. Fear had been his constant companion since the attack began. But maybe fear wasn't a weakness. Maybe it was a signal telling him he needed to act, to survive, to help. A soft alarm sounded, and people in the room began moving quickly but quietly. Ayla grabbed Eli's hand. Come on, she said. We have work to do. You can rest later. For now, watch and learn. Humans survive together, Eli, and tonight you'll see why. As they moved through the underground shelter, Eli realized something. The world above might be in chaos, the aliens might be powerful, and the streets might be deadly. But here, underground, humans were alive in a way he had never understood before. They were clever, resourceful, and united. And if there was one thing he had learned from Ayla in these few hours, it was this. Humans weren't just surviving. They were preparing to fight back. And for the first time since the attack began, Eli felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. The underground room was quiet but full of energy. Eli followed Ayla, his senses alert. Everywhere he looked, humans moved with purpose. Some checked small screens and blinking machines. Others whispered instructions to each other. There was no panic here, only calm urgency. The contrast with the streets above, where drones had patrolled like hunters, was striking. Eli felt small and unsure. He had never done anything dangerous in his life, but Ayla's confidence seemed to radiate around her. She didn't rush, but she moved with a certainty he couldn't ignore. This is the main hub, she explained as they walked past a row of computers and devices. From here, we track drone movements, watch the city, and plan our actions. Every human alive counts, and we're careful to protect them. Eli glanced at the screens. Maps of the city flashed with colored dots, green for safe zones, red for drones. Every movement above ground was being monitored. He felt a shiver. The aliens were precise, organized, and relentless. But these humans hidden underground were clever, using technology in ways the aliens might never anticipate. "Why are humans hiding?" Eli asked. "Why not fight from the streets?" Ayla stopped for a moment and looked at him. "Fighting blindly doesn't work," she said. "The drones are strong, fast, and they can detect almost anything. We survive not by fighting directly, but by being smarter, by using our minds, our knowledge, and our teamwork." They reached a corner of the shelter where a group of young people was gathered around a table, assembling small devices. Eli watched curiously. The devices looked simple, boxes with wires and blinking lights, but Ayla whispered, "Those are signal disruptors. They confuse drones for a short time. It's not a weapon, it's a tool. Humans can think in ways the drones can't predict." Eli nodded slowly. He began to understand. Survival wasn't about strength. It was about creativity, adaptability, and helping each other. Ayla led him to a smaller room where other humans were resting. There were blankets, water bottles, and small packed meals. She handed him a sandwich and a bottle of water. "Eat," she said. "You'll need energy." He ate slowly, still in awe of what he saw. The room smelled faintly of metal and electricity, mixed with the earthy scent of the underground. People moved with quiet efficiency, but there was also warmth. Laughter occasionally bubbled up, soft and careful. Despite the fear outside, humans here were alive in a way that was almost defiant. After he finished eating, Ayla guided him to a small corner with screens and devices. "You'll watch first," she said. "Observe, learn, then you'll help. Humans survive because we teach each other, even in the worst situations. Everyone has a role. Everyone matters." Eli nodded, feeling nervous but determined. He watched the screens closely. The red dots representing drones moved in precise patterns, scanning the streets and rooftops. Green dots represented hidden humans, moving cautiously, avoiding detection. Some humans even used makeshift mirrors and devices to distract the drones. Every time a drone passed a safe zone, Eli felt a small thrill. Humans were clever, they were improvising, they were surviving. "You're learning fast," Ayla said, leaning over his shoulder. "Notice how humans adapt. The drones are strong, but humans think differently. We use creativity, we use teamwork, and we never give up." Suddenly, an alarm sounded, a soft, pulsing red light above one of the screens. A drone had spotted a group of humans near a city square. People in the room sprang into action. One person typed rapidly on a keyboard, sending signals to disrupt the drone's sensors. Another prepared a small device to create a temporary signal cloud above the square, hiding humans from the drone's view. Eli felt his heart pound. He had never seen anything like this before. Humans were fighting, not with guns or brute force, but with intelligence, courage, and coordination. "Can I help?" he asked nervously. Ayla smiled. "Yes. Watch first, then act. You'll need to stay calm, think clearly, and trust yourself. Humans survive because we use our minds as much as our strength." He watched as the team executed their plan. The drone hovered over the square, its sensors flickering as the signal cloud activated. The humans below slipped into side streets, unnoticed. Eli couldn't help but feel amazement. He had always thought of humans as fragile, weak compared to machines. But here, underground, he saw something different. Humans were clever, adaptable, and full of determination. After the drone left, the team gathered again. There were quiet smiles, relieved nods, and whispered congratulations. Ayla turned to Eli. "See? Humans survive because we work together, because we adapt, because we refuse to give up. Strength isn't always physical. Sometimes it's knowing what to do when the world seems impossible." Eli nodded slowly. he felt a spark of something he hadn't felt since the attack began. Hope. Maybe humans weren't powerless. Maybe they could survive, and even thrive, against the alien threat. Ayla then took him to a small room filled with blueprints and maps. "This is where we plan," she said. "Every safe route, every hidden shelter, every human in the city, we track it all. Humans survive because we plan, because we anticipate, because we act together." Eli examined the maps. Streets he had walked every day were now marked with colors and symbols. Every alley, every building, every rooftop had a purpose. Humans had transformed their city into a living puzzle, a network of safe zones and escape routes. He felt a mixture of awe and fear. The aliens were strong and relentless, but humans were clever, creative, and united. Isla noticed his expression. "I know it's overwhelming," she said. "But humans survive by taking one step at a time. Fear is natural, but fear doesn't control us. Humans survive because we act despite fear, because we protect each other, because we refuse to give up." Eli took a deep breath. He realized she was right. Fear had consumed him since the attack began. But now, watching the humans around him, learning from Ayla, he felt something shift. Fear was still there, but it no longer paralyzed him. It became awareness, guiding him to act, to think, to survive. Hours passed as Eli learned more. He observed the drones, the humans' responses, and the small strategies they used to stay safe. He even helped with minor tasks, monitoring a screen, relaying information, and learning how to use the signal devices. Each task, no matter how small, gave him confidence. He was part of something bigger, something important. By the time evening came, Eli felt tired but alert. He had learned more in a few hours than he ever imagined. The underground shelter wasn't just a hiding place. It was a center of human resilience, intelligence, and courage. Humans weren't passive or weak. They adapted, they planned, and they fought with every tool they had, even against a powerful alien force. Ayla sat beside him, handing him a small cup of water. "You did well today," she said. "Tomorrow you'll learn more. Humans survive because we keep learning, because we keep moving, because we never give up. And now, you're part of that." Eli drank the water slowly, his mind racing with everything he had seen. He thought of the drones, the chaos above, the humans working together underground. For the first time since the attack began, he felt a spark of confidence. He was scared, yes, but he was also ready. Ready to survive, ready to help, ready to be human in a way that mattered more than strength or weapons. As he lay down on a cot to rest, Eli glanced at Ayla. She was organizing small devices and reviewing maps, her focus unbroken. He realized something important. Humans survived not because they were invincible, but because they refused to give up, because they protected each other, and because they used their minds in ways the aliens could never predict. And for the first time in days, Eli felt safe. Not just because Ayla had saved him, but because he understood that humans, even in the face of overwhelming odds, were stronger than fear. Outside, the city remained dangerous, and the drones still patrolled the skies. But underground, in the hidden shelter, humans were alive, clever, and united. And Eli knew one thing with certainty. If humans could survive this, they could survive anything. The underground shelter felt different the next morning. Eli woke to the sound of quiet footsteps and soft voices. People weren't just preparing, they were getting ready for something bigger, something serious. The air held tension, but it wasn't fear. It was purpose. Ayla stood near a table, checking small devices and organizing tools into neat rows. Eli walked toward her, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "You're up," she said with a small smile. "Good. Today is important." Eli nodded nervously. "What's happening today?" Ayla motioned for him to follow. "You'll see." She led him into the main room. Several humans stood around a large holographic map of the city. The red dots on the map showed drone communication towers, tall metal structures the aliens used to control their machines. One of the towers pulsed with a bright red glow. "That one," Ayla said, pointing. "That's our target." Eli's eyes widened. "Target? You mean we're going near it?" Ayla nodded calmly. "Yes, it's a communication hub. The drones rely on it to receive commands. If we disable it, even for a short time, other humans in the city will get a chance to move, escape, or regroup. It could help thousands." Eli swallowed hard. The idea of going near a structure controlled by aliens terrified him, but he also knew Ayla wouldn't take him unless she believed he was ready. A man with gray hair wearing a small headset stepped forward. "Ayla, Eli, you'll move with Team C. Your job is to approach the tower from the west side. Team A will distract the drones from the east, and Team B will use a signal disruptor to confuse sensors. You two will plant the device." "Plant the device?" Eli repeated, unsure. Ayla lifted a small metal box from the table. It was about the size of a book, with wires running across its surface. "This is an EMP pod," she said. "It will release a controlled pulse that shuts down the tower for a few minutes." "Only a few minutes?" Eli asked. Ayla nodded. "That's all we need. A few minutes can save many lives." Eli felt his heartbeat quicken. He wasn't sure if he was ready for this. But as he looked around the room, at the humans preparing, at the determined faces, at the quiet hope, he knew he couldn't stand back anymore. People were risking everything to help others. He wanted to be part of that. Ayla placed a hand on his shoulder. "You can do this," she said gently. "Humans survive because we trust each other, and I trust you." Those words gave Eli a strange strength. He took a deep breath and nodded. "Okay, I'm ready." Before leaving, everyone gathered in a circle. The gray-haired man spoke softly. "Remember, no one acts alone. Humans survive by working together. Stay calm, stay smart, and watch each other's backs." Ayla and Eli slipped their backpacks on. Eli's hands shook slightly, but Ayla gave him a reassuring nod. They moved through a long tunnel that led deeper underground. Small LED lights cast a cool glow on the walls. As they walked, Eli felt his fear mix with adrenaline. Every step brought them closer to danger, but also closer to making a difference. The tunnel opened into an old subway station. The tracks were dusty and unused. Broken posters hung on the walls, and the faint sound of distant drones echoed through the space. "From here, we go above ground," Ayla whispered. Team C gathered near the stairs. A young woman handed them black cloth wraps. "Cover your faces," she instructed. "The drones scan for heat signatures. These wraps reduce detection." Eli tied the cloth around his face, feeling the rough fabric against his skin. His heartbeat thumped in his chest. "Stay close," Ayla whispered. They moved up the stairs slowly. When they reached the surface, Eli felt a cool wind brush against his face. The sky above was a pale, dusty gray. Tall buildings cast long shadows, and the streets were empty except for abandoned cars and rubble. Distant drones floated in the sky like silent watchers. Eli crouched beside Ayla as she studied the map on her wrist screen. "The tower is 4 blocks away. We move when Team A starts their distraction." "How will we know?" Eli asked. Ayla smiled slightly. "You'll hear it." They waited behind a broken wall. The city felt frozen, like time had stopped. Eli's legs trembled slightly, but he forced himself to breathe slowly. He had a job. He had a purpose. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed across the city. Sparks flashed in the distance. Drones shifted direction, moving toward the noise. "That's Team A," Ayla whispered. "Time to move." They sprinted from cover, staying low, weaving through empty alleyways. Eli had never been so alert. Every sound, Every shadow made his heart race. But Ayla moved confidently, guiding him with quick gestures. As they turned a corner, the communication tower came into view. It rose high into the sky, a tall metal structure covered in blue lights. Its base was surrounded by abandoned machines and outposts. 3 drones floated near it, scanning the area. "Team B should disrupt the sensors soon," Ayla whispered. "Get ready." Eli clutched the EMP pod. His hands felt sweaty, but he held it tight. Then, suddenly, the blue lights on the tower flickered. The drones paused, their movements slowing slightly. "That's our moment," Ayla said. "Go!" They dashed forward. Eli's legs pumped fast, his heart racing. Ayla reached the base of the tower first, checking for traps or sensors. "It's clear," she said. "Place the device here." Eli knelt and placed the EMP pod against a panel. The metal was cold. He pressed the small button Ayla pointed to. The device lit up softly. "Hold it steady," Ayla said. Eli kept his hands firm. The pod beeped. Then, a drone turned toward them. "It spotted us!" Eli gasped. "Stay calm," Ayla said quickly. "We still have time." She tapped a small device on her wrist. A soft hum filled the air. The drone's lights flickered, confused, but it still floated closer. "Hurry!" Ayla whispered. The EMP pod beeped 3 more times. "Come on," Eli whispered under his breath. The drone surged forward suddenly, its blue eye glowing brighter. "Eli, move!" Ayla shouted. The EMP pod clicked. A burst of white pulse exploded outward, not loud but powerful. A wave of static energy rushed across the tower. The lights on the structure blinked out instantly. The drone jerked in midair, its eye flickering, then fell to the ground with a metallic crash. Eli stumbled back, shocked. "It worked!" Ayla grabbed his arm. "We need to go, now! The other drones will notice." They sprinted away from the tower. Behind them, the remaining drones spun in confusion, unable to receive commands. Eli followed Ayla through back streets and broken shops. His lungs burned, his legs ached, but he kept going. He felt alive in a way he had never felt before. Afraid, yes, but powerful too. By the time they reached the abandoned subway station, Eli's chest heaved with exhaustion. Ayla checked behind them before leading him inside. They descended the stairs quickly. Once they were safely underground, Ayla finally stopped. She leaned against a wall, breathing heavily. "You did it," she said with a proud smile. "You stayed calm. You completed the mission." Eli dropped to a seat on an old bench. His entire body trembled, but he felt a warm pride. We really helped people, didn't we?" Ayla nodded. "Yes, because the tower is down, even for a few minutes. Humans across the city can move to safety. Some will reach shelters, some will escape drone zones. Every moment matters." Eli looked at his hands. They still shook, but he felt stronger somehow. He had faced danger and survived. Not because he was fearless, but because he acted despite fear. Ayla sat beside him. "This is what it means to be human. We think, we adapt, we act even when we're afraid. Machines are strong, but they don't have what we have." "What's that?" Eli asked softly. "Heart," Ayla said. "Courage, teamwork, hope." Eli nodded slowly. For the first time, he truly understood. Back at the shelter, people greeted them with relieved smiles. Some clapped softly. Others patted Eli on the back. The gray-haired man approached them. "You both did well," he said warmly. "Because of your effort, many humans have already reached new safe zones." Eli felt his eyes sting, not from sadness, but from the weight of what they had done. Ayla handed him a cup of water. "Rest now. Tomorrow, there will be more to learn." Eli drank slowly, feeling calm spread through him. He wasn't the same person who had woken up frightened in Ayla's room. He wasn't helpless. He wasn't lost. He was part of something bigger. He was part of humanity's fight, and for the first time, he believed humans could win. The underground shelter was quiet the next morning, but the air was full of energy. Eli woke on his cot, stretching stiff arms and legs. His body ached from the previous day's mission, but his mind buzzed with thoughts of what they had accomplished. He had faced the alien drones, planted an EMP pod, and survived. He felt a new sense of purpose, one he had never experienced before. Ayla appeared at the edge of the room, holding a small tablet. Eli, wake up. Today you'll see something important. Something important? He asked, sitting up. What is it? You'll see, Ayla replied with a mysterious smile. It's time to witness the human spirit in action. Eli followed her through the shelter. People were already moving with purpose. Some were repairing devices damaged in previous drone encounters. Others were packing supplies for humans who had escaped danger zones. Children carried water bottles and blankets, their small faces determined and serious. Eli noticed the elders teaching younger humans how to use the devices safely. Everywhere he looked, humans were working together. He realized that survival was not just about hiding or fighting, it was about unity, teamwork, and care. Ayla led him to a small corridor, then down a narrow staircase to another chamber. This room was larger, with screens and maps covering the walls. Teams of humans were coordinating movements in real time. On one screen, a group of humans was crossing the city in a carefully planned path, avoiding drone patrols. Eli could see their every step and decision. He felt like he was part of something bigger than himself. Watch closely, Ayla said. This is a live operation. Humans are moving through the city right now, and we are guiding them to safety. Eli's eyes widened. All of them? How many people? Over 50 so far, Ayla said. But more will follow. Humans survive because we take care of each other, even when danger is all around us. He noticed a young woman tapping commands on a console. Who is she? Eli asked. That's Zara, Ayla said. She's coordinating a group of children and elders. Without her, many would not make it out safely. Eli watched in awe as Zara guided the group using lights, signals, and careful instructions. The humans moved like a single organism, flowing through streets and alleys, dodging the drone's attention. It was not strength alone that kept them alive, but intelligence, creativity, and the will to survive together. A soft alarm sounded, drawing Eli's attention to a new part of the map. One group was trapped between two drones near a collapsed building. Panic could have taken over anyone's mind, but the humans in the shelter worked calmly, sending signals and creating distractions. Eli felt his heart pound as he watched. A small EMP device was deployed, briefly confusing the drones, allowing the humans to escape. Cheers echoed quietly in the room, careful not to attract attention from the drones outside. Ayla placed a hand on Eli's shoulder. See? This is the human spirit. We survive because we adapt, because we help each other, and because we never give up, even when the odds are against us. Eli nodded slowly, absorbing her words. He had always thought humans were weak, fragile, easy to defeat. But now, seeing their cleverness, their courage, and their determination, he realized he had been wrong. Humans were stronger than any machine could predict. Hours passed as Eli learned more. He assisted by relaying information about drone locations, helping monitor safe routes, and even guiding a small group to a temporary shelter. His movements were careful, precise, but he felt pride swell inside him. He was part of a system that was larger than himself, larger than fear, larger than the aliens' power. At one point, Ayla motioned him over. "We have a challenge," she said. "A large patrol is moving toward a hospital. Civilians are trapped inside. We need to guide them out." Eli's stomach tightened. Hospitals were crowded with vulnerable people. How could he help without attracting the drone's attention? "Trust yourself," Ayla whispered. "Humans survive by using their minds, not just their strength." Eli nodded, swallowing hard. He followed her to a console showing the hospital and surrounding streets. Drones hovered above, scanning with precision. He took a deep breath and started marking paths for civilians, using small safe routes, back alleys, and hidden corridors. Every movement counted. Every instruction mattered. Time seemed to stretch as Eli guided the group. One child paused near a window, scared and frozen. Eli instructed Zara to create a small distraction with a mirrored panel, reflecting sunlight to confuse a nearby drone. The child moved forward, following the safe path. Slowly, all civilians were guided out, unseen and unharmed. Eli felt a rush of relief and pride. He realized that even small actions could make a huge difference. Humans didn't need super strength or advanced weapons. They needed courage, creativity, and teamwork. That was what made them survive and thrive. Later, Eli and Ayla took a short break in a quiet corner. Both were tired but exhilarated. "You did well today," Ayla said, handing him a small bottle of water. "You guided people to safety. That's the most important thing." Eli drank slowly, thinking. "I never realized humans could be so clever, so united." "They always have been," Ayla said. "We survive because we think, because we care, because we act together. Fear is normal, but we do not let it control us. That's what sets humans apart." Eli's thoughts drifted to the city above. The drones still patrolled the skies, and danger remained everywhere. But he no longer felt helpless. He had seen humans act with intelligence and courage. He had seen them protect each other, even in the worst conditions, and he had taken part in it. As the day passed, more operations unfolded. Eli assisted in guiding food supplies to trapped civilians, monitoring drone patterns, and helping repair communication devices. He saw humans of all ages contributing, children relaying messages, elders teaching strategies, young adults coordinating movements. Every individual mattered. Every action counted. Humans survived not because they were invincible, but because they refused to give up and because they acted together. At one point, Eli looked at Ayla. "Do you think we can win?" he asked quietly. Ayla smiled, her eyes steady. "Winning isn't just about defeating the aliens," she said. "It's about surviving, protecting each other, and proving that the human spirit cannot be broken. And yes, I believe humans can win because we adapt, we endure, and we never lose hope." Eli felt warmth spread through him. For the first time, he truly understood what she meant. Humans were not fragile. They were clever, resourceful, and courageous. Their strength came from unity, heart, and the refusal to give in to fear. By evening, the operations slowed. People returned to the shelter, tired but alive. Eli sat on his cot, staring at the ceiling. He thought about the people they had helped, the clever strategies they had used, and the courage he had witnessed. He realized that even in the darkest times, humans could shine brighter than fear. Ayla joined him, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "You've grown today," she said. "You've seen what humans can do when we act together. Never forget that. Humans survive because we believe in each other." Eli nodded. He had learned more than he ever thought possible. Fear still existed, but it no longer controlled him. He was ready for whatever came next. He understood that humans survived not because they were perfect, but because they adapted, cared, and acted with courage. Outside, the city remained dangerous, with drones still patrolling and alien machines active. But underground, in the shelter, humans were alive, clever, and united. And Eli knew one thing with certainty. If humans could survive this together, they could survive anything. As he lay down to rest that night, Eli felt hope fill his chest. Tomorrow would bring more challenges, but he was no longer afraid. He was part of something greater than himself, the human spirit, and the human spirit, he realized, could not be broken. The city above was quiet, but not peaceful. The drones still patrolled the streets and skies, their cold metal bodies glinting under the gray light. But underground, the shelter buzzed with activity. Humans were planning, repairing, and preparing. Eli had grown used to the rhythm of survival, yet today felt different. There was a sense of purpose stronger than ever before, something that hinted at hope. Ayla approached Eli as he examined a map of the city. "Today is important," she said, her voice calm but firm. "We're going to strike in a coordinated effort. Humans are going to show that we cannot be controlled." Eli's heart raced. The previous missions had been dangerous, but this one sounded larger, more decisive. "We're attacking?" he asked, unsure. Ayla shook her head. "Not attacking, outsmarting. Humans survive because we think differently than machines. Today, we show that." He nodded slowly. He had learned so much in the last few days. How to guide humans to safety, how to avoid drones, and how to stay calm under pressure. But nothing prepared him for the magnitude of what was coming. The gray-haired coordinator spoke to the assembled teams. "This is our chance," he said. "We'll disable multiple drone hubs, guide civilians out of danger, and reclaim key parts of the city. We do this together. We act with intelligence, courage, and hope. Humans survive because we work as one. Remember that." Eli swallowed hard. This was it. He was no longer a scared, helpless young man. He was part of something bigger, a movement that relied on courage, cleverness, and heart. Ayla and Eli moved with Team C toward the first target, a central drone hub controlling a large portion of the city. They moved through hidden alleyways and abandoned buildings, avoiding patrols with the skill Eli had learned. Every step required focus. Every movement mattered. When they reached the hub, Eli froze for a moment. The drones were active, guarding the perimeter. He felt the familiar rush of fear, but he pushed it aside. He had a role. And humans survived because everyone played their role. Ayla whispered instructions. "We'll use the EMP devices to disable the hub temporarily. Others will guide civilians to safety. When the hub goes down, we act quickly. Are you ready?" Eli nodded, gripping the small device in his hands. He could feel his pulse in his throat. "Ready," he said firmly. They moved forward with quiet precision. Eli followed Ayla's lead, staying low and avoiding sightlines. The hub loomed ahead, tall and metallic, its blue lights glowing ominously. Drones hovered around, scanning for life. Eli's hands shook slightly, but he steadied himself. "Now," Ayla whispered. Eli placed the EMP device on a control panel. The device beeped softly. Ayla tapped a small screen, coordinating with the other teams. Seconds felt like hours. Then, a pulse of energy radiated outward. The lights on the hub flickered and went out. Drones nearby faltered, spinning in confusion before crashing to the ground. Eli stumbled back, relief flooding through him. "It worked," he whispered. "Keep moving," Ayla said. "There's more to do." They sprinted toward the next target, navigating rooftops and alleyways. Citizens, guided by Team B, moved through safe routes, unseen by the drones. Eli watched children, elders, and families reach temporary shelters. Humans survived not because they were invisible or unafraid, but because they used their minds, their courage, and their unity. During the mission, Eli witnessed something extraordinary. Humans improvised constantly, turning ordinary objects into tools, creating distractions, and confusing the drones with clever tricks. A group of children held reflective panels, redirecting sunlight to distract sensors, while another team used small sound devices to mimic movement in empty streets. Machines were strong and precise, but humans were unpredictable, inventive, and fearless. Hours passed, and Eli grew exhausted, but he pushed on. The human spirit carried him forward. Every life they saved, every drone hub they disabled, reinforced his belief that humanity could endure anything. Finally, they reached the largest hub in the city. It controlled nearly all drone activity. The operation required coordination among every team in the shelter. Eli glanced at Ayla, who gave him a reassuring nod. "This is it," she whispered. "Humans survive because we act together. Stay focused." The hub was massive, a metal tower pulsing with energy. Drones circled like predators. Eli's stomach tightened, but he remembered everything he had learned. Fear was normal. Acting despite fear, that was what made humans strong. The teams moved simultaneously. EMP devices were placed strategically. Signals were sent to confuse drones, while humans moved civilians to safety through hidden paths. Eli planted his device carefully, his hands steady despite exhaustion. He pressed the activation button. The hub shuddered, lights flickered, and then darkness. Drones faltered, losing coordination, and many crashed into the streets. For the first time since the invasion, the city felt human again. Civilians moved freely, guided by clever routes and plans devised by the shelter teams. Cheers erupted quietly underground, careful not to attract the remaining drones. Eli's chest swelled with pride. They had done it. They had survived. And in some ways, they had won. Ayla took Eli's hand. "See? The human spirit cannot be broken," she said. "Machines can be strong, fast, precise, but humans think, adapt, and care. That is what makes us unbeatable." Eli looked around. People of all ages were smiling, exhausted but triumphant. Children waved at their rescuers. Families hugged each other tightly. Even in a world filled with danger, humans had found a way to protect each other. As night fell, Eli and Ayla returned to the shelter. The city above was quieter, more controlled, yet filled with the echoes of survival. The drones had retreated, confused and weakened. Human ingenuity had outsmarted them. Eli sat beside Ayla, breathing heavily. "We actually did it," he whispered. "We helped save so many people." Ayla smiled. "Yes, and this is only the beginning. Humans survive because we adapt, learn, and protect each other. We've proven that today." Eli looked at the faces of the humans around him. The young, the old, the scared, the brave. Everyone had played a role. Every act mattered. Humans survived not because they were invincible, but because they refused to give up. He realized something important. Strength was not just physical. Survival came from courage, intelligence, teamwork, and heart. It came from caring for each other, from acting even when fear threatened to paralyze. That was the true power of humanity. Ayla leaned back and looked out through a small ventilation shaft toward the city. The sky was still gray, but a faint glow of dawn touched the horizon. Eli followed her gaze. The city was alive, not with machines, but with humans. Moving carefully, surviving cleverly, shining brightly in the darkness. "Tomorrow," Ayla said softly, "humans will continue to reclaim their world, step by step, act by act. We survive because we are human, and being human is stronger than any machine." Eli nodded, finally understanding. Humans had endured, survived, and adapted. They had used their minds and hearts in ways machines could never predict. Every life saved, every obstacle overcome, every creative solution had proven the truth. Humanity could not be broken. As the first light of dawn filled the shelter, Eli felt a deep peace. Fear still existed, but hope was stronger. He had seen humans at their best, clever, courageous, and united. He had learned that even in the darkest times, humans could shine brighter than any machine. For the first time in days, Eli felt truly safe. Not because danger had disappeared, but because he understood humanity's true strength. Humans survived, not by weapons or machines alone, but by heart, by mind, and by spirit. And now, he was part of that story. The dawn broke over the city, pale and soft, casting long shadows over streets still filled with challenges. But underground, in the shelter, humans rested, recovered, and prepared. And Eli knew, without a doubt, that the human spirit would endure. Humans had survived. Humans had adapted. Humans had triumphed in their own way. And this was only the beginning.